Yes, the Scout and Guard director for the territory for over 14 years and directed the Scout and Guard program to great heights in the Salvation Army, so it's a special program to me.
Yeah. And you grew up through the Salvation Army. What did you do when you left school?
I got married.
You got married, you were a baby.
I did. I immigrated to Australia the day I got married because they were paying for people to immigrate to Australia. You know this?
Yes.
And so we thought it would be a great adventure to go off to Australia, and they had invited my husband to play in the Melbourne staff band to be the trombone soloist. So we went off.
You went off, and but that time you weren't officers. How did you come to be Salvation
Well, I
Army
had
officers?
a baby while I was there.
Yes.
And after we were there 2 years, she was born and thought it would be better to have her grow up with her family in America. So we came back, and we were in the travel business. We owned an airline, and we were in the travel business for many years, traveled the world. And one time my husband was in India, and a woman came to the window with a baby and tried to sell him a baby. At which point he got on the plane, came home, grabbed my hand, pulled me into the DC's office and said, "We're ready to take on a corps." We weren't officers, so we just offered to take a corps because it had been suggested maybe we would like to do that.
Was
So
that a
we did
shock
that.
to you when you did that?
No. I had always wanted to be an officer, so
So you served in Corps in the US?
we were in 14 different corps through our career.
But something, you did something extraordinary. Your career took a turn. Tell us about where you served.
We filled out this form that said, "Would you ever consider overseas service?" And we said yes. We put yes. We got orders to Sweden, so we served in Sweden for a few years. And while we were there, General Burroughs called us to say, "We need people to go to Russia." And we said, "No, we're really doing quite well in Sweden, and we have a lot of programs going, so we really think we need to be in Sweden." We had 3 corps where we were, so it wasn't like we were not doing anything. So the next morning we got a telegram.
You said no thank you, and she said yes please.
We said we always would go on orders,
Yes.
naturally, and the next morning.
Where did you serve in Russia?
We were the first 6 that went into the country. There were 6 that went into the country, 2 from Norway, we came from the United States, and 2 from Canada. And we served in Leningrad, and we were there during the coup. And then we moved to Moscow. The 2 of us moved on to Moscow to do the same thing, to start the entire army in Moscow. So we were in another coup there, the second coup that happened. And then they wanted to replicate that in Ukraine and right across the Soviet Union, which turned into the CIS while we were there. And so we went on to Ukraine, did the same thing in Ukraine as we had done the other 2 places. And then Moldova. So I opened 3 countries for the Salvation Army.
Quite amazing. Were they scary times?
Oh, they were,
Yeah.
because it was a time when we were there by permission. The government invited us in, so we were invited in, and we had a little bit of protection. But I never took my hat off or my uniform off. I wore it all the time for protection because nobody knew who I was.